Bob is very kindly offered to hang on. You filming this?
Sorry, I'll
talk about ADS-B and aircraft. Thank you, Bob.
I don't know much about it, so I'll just ad-lib here, and I wasn't intending to do a talk. So anyway, in the Silicon Chip magazine, if you haven't seen this magazine, it's really worth having. Don't read the editor is a nutcase, but never mind that. Don't read the editorials. There's been a series of articles on how to use DVB-T dongles, which are made for TV, as an SDR. And so the first two articles were about that sort of a thing, and then on Tuesday, this magazine came and it showed how to use this DVB-T dongle as ADS-B.
SDR.
Yeah. To listen to aircraft directly. Now, I had no idea what it was. And so in this first article on describing what ADS-B is, so that's a good first start to read. And then the other thing is if you already have a dongle working for SDR, all you have to do is download some software, put it in the computer, and away you go. Now the dongle, by the way, is I bought on the web for $8.17 plus $2 postage. So that's the everything that you see here, and I made the 10% antenna this afternoon out of some junk box stuff. So basically the whole outlay here was $10.17 to get this thing going. Of course you have to have your computer already, but all the software is free, so what's wonderful. And I can demonstrate the SDR if anybody's interested as well. After we turn the other one off. And by the way, I have a nice disc code on the roof, but unfortunately it's connected. It's usually for aircraft on VHF, so it's got RG58 coming down. And by the time you take 1 gigahertz, which this is transmitting on, down through all that RG8, this little antenna works a whole lot better sitting on the desk than the disc code up the top. Okay, so there's a second article in here on how to hook it up. It takes you right through step by step on what you need to do to download it from the web. The other two articles tell you exactly how to get your your dongle going, and download the drivers and all that for that. And I thought I'd just read out in here what's happening with SDR. If I can find some spectacles, I will.
Or more?
Oh, these are prescription.
Well, you look much more handsome than yours.
Okay. So where are we? Where it came from? So if you don't mind, I'll just read a couple of things out of here. In 2009, Australia became the first country in the world to be fully equipped with ADS-B coverage. At that stage, there were 57 ADS-B ground stations operating from 28 sites. These apparently offer complete coverage of the continent for aircraft flying above 20,000 feet, with only small gaps at low levels. So basically it covers up to 250 nautical miles, so with these stations you could do that. I think there are quite a few more stations now. According to Air Services Australia, all aircraft flying at flight level at 290, that's 29,000 feet, will need to be equipped with ADS-B out equipment. There's ADS-B out, there's ADS-B in equipment. The other article tells you all about that. So two airplanes that are flying that can talk to each other and find out exactly where each other is, and get all kinds of information about whether they're on a collision path and so on. So anyway, you're going to have that equipment on board, especially if if you've got over 30 seats in the aircraft, then you must have it on board. Okay, now what does this thing do? Basically it listens to 1.09 gigahertz through the dongle. That goes into one piece of software that decodes it, and that hands it over to the display software. Those two bits of software together put this on the screen for you. Each aircraft is transmitting a burst of data twice a second. It's a very short burst. I listened to it on the SDR, and it just sounds like a tick. It comes back so quickly. And so each aircraft is doing that, so it updates twice a second for each aircraft up there. Takes all the data. You can get the the position of the aircraft, what kind of aircraft it is, where it's going, where it's coming from, the whole lot on there. And it displays it on the screen here. And when you first start the thing up, you go into navigate and say, okay, where am I? It starts out with you're in Prague, so you have to change it from Prague to Melbourne, pop Melbourne in it. It then puts on the screen Melbourne, with Melbourne in the middle of the map, and then you click another one and it goes to Google and finds the correct map to underlay it, so you see where you are, puts the cities and roads and anything else you want on it. And then it starts listening to the aircraft, and each time it gets information from the aircraft, if it gets enough information, it says, okay, sure, I've got this, and you can change the confidence level, so it has to have a lot more information before it's confident it has it. And then it just displays it on the screen, and you can see them moving in real time. So this is real-time stuff. It's actually where they are right now. If you don't want to go to all this trouble, as Graham says, you can just go to Flight Radar 24, and you can get all this stuff all over the world. And if you go to Flight Radar 24 and center it on the U.S., you're going to be absolutely amazed, because the size of the icons for individual aircraft are so big that you reckon you could just walk across the U.S. on icons. There's just a massive of airplanes. Not quite like that here. Sorry?
Have you ever looked, you can look around the world, this one? Not this one, you can only Melbourne, this one, the strength of community.
Well, you can look around the world, but you won't see anything because you can't hear them. This one only displays what it hears, whereas the one on the web displays everything all over the world. All this information from all of these sites, the official sites, gets fed into a central point and distributed from there. So I might leave it with that, and just come and take a look at it and play with it if you like to. Yeah.
What's the name of the software you got?
Okay, the two bits of software are ADS-B Sharp and ADS-B Scope. Scope.
Yep.
Okay, and again, you go to a particular website, download it on, and everything's in here. It's step by step by step. You can't go wrong. It's very simple to do.
In the diagram of the antenna, did you get that off the web or didn't you?
I went onto the web to find out what they had to offer, and on one of the sites it said, yes, a quarter wave should be approximately 6.5 centimeters. So I just went out in the garage and made
it. That was because you did was on one gig.
Yeah, I think you can work it out. Get your ham radio, get your magazine out. And,
Yeah.
I think it was 6.54 centimeters.
There are also designs for cannoneers on there as well, because a lot of the plane pilot type people have been playing with that.
Yeah.
Plane pilots.
Yeah, there's a lot of commercial antennas available, but
you make money. So.
out of your junk box, it's a lot cheaper.
Just another thing, Bob. The one that I've got is a Yugoslav amateur who makes his own. So it's the same principle, and it's a dongle with an F-type connector on it. And he supplies it with an antenna and the ADS-B scope software. Cost me €70 delivered. Yeah, it might have gone up $1.
How much is that in real money though? €70.
So $100.
Yeah, $90, 92 delivered. I queried him first off just to make sure it was all kosher. And he is a Yugoslav amateur, and he said that if you order one today, you're number 97 in the order list. So he's churning these things out. He's just released an upgraded version. So I used it 3 weeks ago in Perth. I was over there for a business trip, and I had it on an ironing board. So a little antenna on an ironing board, 4-inch floor. 34 aircraft was the best I could see, up to 200 nautical miles out. So if you've got an outside antenna, and then of course what you can do if you want to, and you want to provide that data to a service provider, like Flight Radar 24, they'll actually give you free membership of that, because you're actually supplying the data to them.
Nice.
Plane Plotter is very popular. If you've been on Plane Plotter, it costs you €25, I think it is, for a lifetime subscription. And basically you browse using their software, and you're actually taking all the data from everyone around the world, and you browse that with that as well. So there's quite a few options out there at this stage.
Any other questions?
Did you have much trouble getting it going?
No, because I already had the dongle going
Okay.
for SDR, and so I just put the software in and it just
Oh,
started.
I mean,
Yeah, it just went.
were there any issues with the port you allocated from the computer?
No, it's
Okay.
got some oddball port, 46,000 something.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's all built in.
Yeah, okay.
And when you get to that part, you just it says what are you using, and if you're using ABS whatever it is, scope or something, it says click this button and it fills in all the blanks for you. So there's nothing to think about.
Because I manually set this up because I wanted to go through the process to see
Yeah.
how difficult it was. And the GUI, the graphic user interface, is quite nice. But it was trial and error with the port. And normally, port 1, 2, 3, 4, kind of common. This was 13, so you just got to, that doesn't work. Oh. And I mean, call me romantic when it comes down to radio, but I was sitting there at midnight testing it in Melbourne before I went to Perth. And just getting 2 aircraft coming up the screen was so exciting. It was just like your first CW contact. Like 2 Jetstar aircraft took off from Marine, and there it is, and it's going up, and you're getting all the data. And thinking, wow! And the son had 10 guys over that having a drinker from in the backyard. And he came in and said, "You all right?" "Yeah, I'm all right. Yeah, just got 2 aircraft on the screen." I go, "Oh, Dad, jeez, come on. Let me go and have another beer."
I reckon it'd be more exciting getting a CW contact personally.
Well, that's the other romantic side. It is exciting.
I can only do a VK at this stage, so getting there.
There's some sort of program I saw on the internet ages ago, and it shows almost in cartoon graphic form where planes are,
Animated.
Yeah, it's animated.